There's a moment you've probably experienced more than once. You're in a conversation, maybe on a date, maybe in a meeting, and the words you're hearing make sense. Everything sounds fine, but something inside of you whispers that it isn't fine at all. You can't explain why. You just know something is off. And later, when the truth comes out, you think back to that moment and realize your gut had it right all along. Most people call that intuition. They shrug and say, "I had a bad feeling." But here's the truth. What you call intuition is really your brain picking up tiny signals. The face, the body, the voice, the rhythm of breathing. Signals that most people never learn to notice consciously. Once you learn to notice them, it feels like you're putting on X-ray glasses. Suddenly, people aren't mysteries anymore. You can see through the words to the reality behind them. It's as if you are reading their mind. And that ability can change your life. In business, in relationships, in friendships. In fact, in every area where people matter. And here's the best part. Anyone can learn it. You don't need to be a spy or a psychologist. You just need to know what to look for and practice it. So let's walk through it. First, you start with the baseline. Every person has their own normal. Some people talk fast, others talk slow. Some make eye contact easily. Others look away when they think. Some are expressive with their hands. Others are as still as stone. If you don't know what's normal for them, you'll make the mistake of reading every little thing as suspicious. That's why your first step in any conversation is to establish their baseline. Just notice how they act when the topic is light and relaxed. Watch their natural pace, tone, and gestures. That's your reference point. Here's why this matters. Let's say you're talking to someone who always taps their foot. If you didn't notice that from the start, you might think it means they're nervous later. But if that's just who they are, you'd be wrong. What really matters is change. If their foot suddenly stops tapping, or if their gestures freeze when a certain subject comes up, that's the clue. Second, look for alignment. The truth has a funny way of showing itself. When someone is being honest, their words, their voice, and their body all tell the same story. They line up. But when someone's hiding something, the triangle breaks. Imagine someone saying, "I'm really happy for you," but their lips tighten, their shoulders hunch, and their tone is flat. Do you believe the words? Of course not. Their body and voice told you the real story. Here's another example. A business partner says, "We're fully committed to this project," but while they say it, they lean back, cross their arms, and glance toward the door. Their words say yes, but everything else screams no. That's the power of alignment. If all three channels agree, the message is real. If they don't, you've found the crack in the story. Third, pay close attention to the face. The human face is a truth machine. Even when people want to hide their feelings, the face gives them away in flashes called micro-expressions. These happen in less than a second, but if you train your eyes, you'll catch them. Here are the big ones. Surprise lifts the eyebrows and opens the eyes. Anger tightens the lips and lowers the brows. Disgust wrinkles the nose. Contempt shows up as a half smile or a little smirk on one side of the mouth. And joy, real joy, makes the eyes crinkle with little crow's feet. The difference between a real smile and a fake smile is night and day once you know it. A fake smile is just lips. A real smile involves the whole face. That one skill alone will save you from a lot of wasted time. Fourth, notice the body's little soothers. When people get nervous, they comfort themselves without even realizing it. They rub their neck, tap their fingers, stroke their hair, play with a ring, or press their lips together. These are called pacifiers. Now here's the key. On their own, these don't prove anything. Everyone fidgets sometimes, but if a person suddenly starts doing it right after you touch on a sensitive subject, pay attention. That's the body telling you, "This is uncomfortable. Something's going on here." The freeze is just as powerful. Someone is animated and moving, then suddenly their hands stop, their body goes still. That's often a sign they're editing themselves, holding something back, or bracing for a tough moment. Fifth, listen to the voice and the breath. Even without seeing someone, you can read them just by listening. That's why phone calls can be so revealing. The voice cracks before the words do. When people are comfortable, their voice tends to be steady. When they're not, you'll hear shifts. They might speed up to rush past something, or slow down because they're choosing their words carefully. The pitch might rise with tension, or drop when they're trying to sound firm. The volume might dip when they don't really believe what they're saying, and the breath gives it away. Shallow, quick breaths are a classic sign of stress. Here's a trick. Next time you're on the phone, close your eyes and just listen. Notice the pauses, the rhythm, the sighs, the little hesitations. You'll be amazed at how much people give away without realizing it. Sixth, trust the energy you feel. We've all had that moment where we walk into a room and feel tension instantly, even before anyone speaks. Or we meet someone and feel uneasy, though we can't explain why. That's real. Your body is picking up subtle clues. The way people move, the tone they use, even the rhythm of the group. Call it energy, call it vibe, call it whatever you want. The point is, you feel it. The smart move is not to invent a story out of thin air. Instead, treat that feeling like a signal. Then look for the visible evidence to back it up. If you feel uneasy, ask yourself why. Did their tone change? Did their smile look forced? Did their eyes dart away? Your intuition opens the door, but the evidence walks you through it. Now, the biggest mistake people make. They see one sign and jump to conclusions. Someone avoids eye contact, and suddenly they're lying. Someone crosses their arms, and suddenly they're defensive. That's lazy thinking. The truth is never in one single signal. It's in the pattern. If 3 or 4 things line up, the eyes, the voice, the posture, the timing, then you can trust it. But one sign alone is nothing. Always look for a cluster of clues. So how do you practice this? Here's the exercise I call the truth detective. In your next conversation, don't just listen to the words. Watch for 3 things: 1 facial expression, 1 body movement, and 1 change in tone of voice. Then, connect them to what was being said in that moment. Let's say you ask a coworker, "How was your weekend?" They say, "It was great," but their smile is tight, their shoulders rise slightly, and their voice is flat. Now you know, the words said one thing, but the signals told the truth. Practice that every day and you'll start seeing patterns everywhere. And once you see them, you can't unsee them. Let's bring this down to a real-life situation. On a date, someone says, "I'm looking for something serious." But as they say it, their body leans back, their eyes glance away, and their smile doesn't touch their eyes. That's not serious. That's just a line. In a business meeting, a partner says, "We're fully ready to move forward," but their voice drops on the word ready. Their fingers tap the table, and their shoulders tense. That's not readiness. That's hesitation. At home, your teenager says, "I'm fine," but their arms are crossed. Their eyes avoid yours, and their breath is shallow. That's not fine. That's something you need to dig deeper into. Now here's the deeper level. When you master this skill, you don't just catch lies. You also catch truth. You see when someone is genuinely excited but afraid to show it. You see when a friend says they're okay but really needs support. You see when a client wants to say yes but is stuck on one fear. And that changes everything. You stop reacting only to words. You respond to reality. You become the person people trust because they feel that you actually see them. So here's your 7-day challenge. Day 1. Just notice baselines. Watch people in casual talk. How do they act when they're comfortable? Day 2. Look for alignment. Do the words, voice, and body match? Day 3. Watch faces. Catch a real smile versus a fake one. Notice tiny flashes of emotion. Day 4. Notice pacifiers. When do people self-soothe or suddenly freeze? Day 5. Listen to voices. Pay attention to phone calls. Notice pitch, pauses, and sighs. Day 6. Trust your vibe. Walk into a room, feel your first impression, then confirm with evidence. Day 7. Put it all together. In one conversation, watch for the full pattern. Do this for a week, and you'll already be sharper than most people around you. Keep doing it, and it will become second nature. You will eventually be able to read people like a book and know exactly what's going on in their mind. Let's end with this. Most people spend their lives listening only to words, and because of that, they get fooled, misled, or blindsided. But when you start listening to the whole message, the face, the body, the voice, and the energy behind it, you stop being surprised. You stop being manipulated. You stop missing opportunities that were right there in front of you all the time. This is not about being suspicious of everyone. It's about being awake. It's about paying attention. It's about understanding people more deeply and connecting with them on a more real level. When you learn to read people like an X-ray, you don't just see through them, you see into them, and that's where the real power begins. Because the better you understand others, the better you can navigate the world, and the more control you have over your own life. That's the legacy code. If you got value from this video, give it a like and subscribe. That way we can continue this journey together. Thank you for watching.